Brian Kay from the Advisor Accelerator and the Unconventional Advisor. And this week, I want to talk about how do you turn a cold lead into a lifelong client, right? It's like that's the purpose of all of our marketing and all of our lead gen is how do we turn someone who barely knows us, a stranger, into somebody who knows, likes, and trusts us and wants to do business with us for the rest of their adult lives and refer friends and family. So let's dive right in. Um, we've been doing this. I've been doing this for the last 30 years with financial advisors. I've worked with over 10,000 advisors, and I've noticed that 95% of the advisors that I've interacted with completely get this wrong, right? They look at marketing as a one-time event. So if they're generating new prospects other than through referrals, if they get most of their new business, let's say through seminar marketing or live events, or they've converted over to virtual, or they buy leads or whatever, they basically look at it as, hey, it's a one and done thing, right? We have either we do it ourselves or we have an outside company, they promote for us. People show up, some of them seem interested, a couple of them say yes to an appointment, and I'm lucky, maybe I make a sale, maybe it takes a couple of appointments, right? That's the vast majority of advisors, and that's as far as they're going. Now there's a small segment of advisors, and all of the people that we've worked with, that understand that marketing is not a one-time event. It's a process. And basically, the way we look at this process is that if you want to turn a cold lead, someone who's a stranger to you, that is in a specific target market, into a lifelong client, you got to start at the top of a funnel, right? And then you got to move them down to the middle of a funnel, and then you strain them down to the bottom of the funnel, right? It's like this, right? You filter and filter and filter, but it happens over a period of time. So it starts with, let me identify a group of people who all share a similar problem, right? And a problem that I'm really good at solving, that I'm an expert at. And I'm going to invite them to either a live event, if it's like in a pre COVID world, or an online event in a post COVID world, or whatever combination you're currently doing, right? But either way, it's an initial offer where, hey, you don't know me. So I can't talk to you about how wonderful I am or that you should immediately start doing business with me. But what I can talk to you about is your problem and the pain that you're in, and how I'm very, very good at helping people like you get out of that pain. And hey, we're doing a live event, a training, a 60-minute masterclass, or whatever, on the secret to getting out of that pain. And again, I'm assuming that you really know how to do this. So in that case, you're going to invite a bunch of people. You're going to use an outside agency to do that for you. People are going to show up, and you're going to do a presentation. And then hopefully you've done a good enough job where a percentage of them are going to sign up and book appointments. Well, that's usually where most advisors stop, right? They get whatever appointments they get. They wonder why some of them don't show up. The ones that do, they make an offer to, possibly, and then some of them become clients, hopefully. The way we teach it, and our advisors do it a little bit different, right? We look at it as, this is a process, and this person does not know, like, and trust you yet. So we have to basically move them along. And because we're now in a post-COVID world where a lot is being done virtually, people are going to be even flakier about it because they have a lot of people trying to grab their attention, and it's not, they don't take it as seriously if they're not going live. So what can we do, right? We can start with making sure that after the invitation, you're doing follow-ups. So if somebody says, yes, I want to come, you're not just sending one automated confirmation. You're sending a personal email. You're texting them. Maybe you're making a voicemail or a voice drop follow-up. Maybe the day of there's an email and a text. Maybe the hour before there is. Maybe 5 minutes before there is, right? We're not making the assumption that we're so important that they signed up, they got one confirmation that was automated, and they're definitely all going to show up. Like, this is why people are very upset when they end up having an event and they got 50 RSVPs and only like 5 or 10 people show up. This is why, right? Is if you're really going to a group of people who share a problem and you have a great solution and way of explaining it, the main reason they're dropping off is they're forgetting. There's not an appropriate amount of follow-up occurring. So step one, follow-up. Step two in this process is during the event, you're going to go ahead and give a presentation, and you're probably going to like basically make an offer, a strategy session, a discovery, an audit, whatever it is. And a percentage of them are going to say yes, right? But the assumption again is that they're just going to automatically show up because they said yes at that moment in time. Well, guess what? The importance of whatever you said to them goes dramatically down within minutes of them leaving that event. So it's on us to make sure that they don't forget. So what happens? We have to send confirmations. We got to do the same telephone, email, text, follow up to make sure they show. And more importantly, you can't just be like, hey, you're going to come to a sales pitch. They have to feel like you're giving them real value at your event and also for your meeting that makes them want to show up, right? People are only going to show up if they think it's worth their time. So if they're really going to learn 3 strategies to cut their taxes by 15%, that might be meaningful to them. If they're really going to learn a strategy to generate or replace their income in retirement for life, they may want to show up for that. Or you're going to do an audit of where their investments are and show them that the 3 biggest mistakes that most people make and how to fix it. You've got to give them value. So that's part 2. Part 3 is after the event, we have to assume that, especially if it's online, a lot of people won't show up for it. They may drop off of it. So what do? We follow up and we send them a recording of it. And we say, hey, here's a replay. It's only up for the next 24 to 48 hours. Check it out. I might send another follow-up and make an offer. Hey, there was a bunch of people on. For whatever reason, they may or may not have stayed till the very end. Here's what we offered. If you sign up in the next 24 hours, you can get this free audit, this free review, this free strategy set, whatever it is, right? So you're making the offer again. Then this is where almost 100% of advisors stop, and this is where we just begin, right? So the way we look at it is, okay, that was the first event. They were brand new, cold. They don't know who I am. I'm going to help them get to know me better. So for the ones that are in the most pain and the hottest, we're going to give them an opportunity to move from the workshop to an appointment, and then ultimately a client. But for those who aren't ready, we're going to invite them into a Facebook group. And we're going to basically give them an opportunity to meet other people just like them. And we're going to provide content in that group that's valuable to them and warm them up. We're going to send drip emails, and we're going to invite them to Zoom calls and trainings and other live events, right? Maybe I'm going to give them a copy of a book that I wrote. Maybe I'm going to give them a free report. Maybe I did an interview with a client who's just like them as a case study and that they would find valuable. These are all things that allow you to go from top of funnel and cold to middle of funnel and then bottom of funnel, where over time they're starting to feel like they know, they like, and they trust you, right? And this is the way we do it with friendships. This is the way we do it in romantic relationships. And this is how we do it with people that we want to have relationships with in a business environment and as clients, right? We want to turn them from strangers into friends and into raving fans. And the only way that happens is through a process and being very thorough and consistent in your follow-up, right? Nobody likes a flake. Nobody likes it being done as a one and done scenario. Everybody wants to know that you're consistent and that you're staying in front of them with valuable stuff. So the big idea here is, if you want to take someone from cold to lifelong client, you've got to invest in follow-up. You've got to invest and assume that they're not just going to get one confirmation and show. You're going to use email. You're going to use text. You're going to use telephone. The day of, you're going to make sure that they show up. And then if they don't show up, you're going to send them a replay. You're going to re-invite them. You're going to invite them to join your Facebook group. You're going to drip on them with email and valuable information. Maybe right after the webinar or the live event, you're going to send them a text and say, hey, I noticed that you just attended my masterclass. Would you like to continue the conversation? If yes, text me personally. This is my personal text. And let's continue the chat. You're looking to start conversations and relationships. So that's the big idea for taking someone from cold to a lifelong relationship, is you have to invest in the process and in the follow-up. With that being said, if you'd like to learn how we've been doing this for the last 30 years with financial advisors, you can go to www.starvingmarketspecialist.com and sign up for our masterclass, where we reveal exactly our full process for getting in front of a starving crowd of families with college bound late stage students in high school, sophomore year, junior year, and senior, who are trying to figure out how am I going to send all my kids to college and pay for it without derailing my retirement, without completely like radically altering my lifestyle. And we show you how to get in front of 5 to 15 of them every single week. Turn 2 or 3 or 4 of them into immediate clients worth $3,000 to $10,000 on average immediately, and then also turn like at least 1 out of every 3 of them into lifelong clients that are worth $200,000 plus. If this sounds interesting, go to www.starvingmarketspecialist.com. If you like this, please give me a like. If you've got any feedback, hopefully nice, please give it to me in the comments. And if you'd like me to give, cover any other topics or subjects, please let me know. If you think this would be valuable to someone else, please share it. That's the only way we keep growing the channels that we're on, and letting people know that we're giving this type of feedback and help. And other than that, this is Brian Kay, the Unconventional Advisor, the co-founder of the Advisor Accelerator, and I'm wishing you a successful and happy week.